Hello, world. It is Monday, November 16th. Excuse me, and a bright sunny day in Defiance. I went running this morning and it was 32 degrees when I got started, so it was quite chilly. I think it's only going to be in the mid 40s, but blue skies, sunshine. I'll take it. It's still a good day to get outside. The devotion for today is entitled On the Ground, and it's written by Vince Amlin. And Vince bases the devotion upon Hebrews chapter 13, verse 2, New Revised Standard Version. Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing that some have entertained angels without knowing it. And Vince writes, the other day a colleague was walking by our building and saw me at the back of the sanctuary. He ducked his head in to say hi and commented on the beauty of the place. I never know what to say when people compliment this space that I had no hand in creating, which is familiar enough now that I hardly notice it. Yeah, I offered and let him take it in. After a few minutes, he motioned to a spot at the front of the sanctuary. What are those two carvings? I told them they were angels holding songbooks. That's interesting, he said. Usually you see angels up high in a church, but yours are down in the ground. Do they have bodies? I think they're just torsos, I told him, heads, wings, and arms. Before he left, he offered a prayer. It began, God, we thank you that your messengers are on the ground. The messengers are on the ground. When he had gone, I took a closer look at the angels, two figures that I see often enough to completely ignore them. I studied them with renewed interest. I had been wrong. They had bodies, robes that reached to the floor, and maybe even the suggestion of toes peeking out underneath. Like they could have just been walking by and ducked their heads in and decided to stay. Like they could just step down at any minute and join the stream of neighbors passing by all day. Could be any one of them at all. In Vince's prayer, God, we thank you that your messengers are on the ground. Amen. And this devotion reminds me of a couple of things. One is, I think we can get so caught up in our lives that we fail to see the angels around us, God's presence in other people around us. Especially when it's people we see every day or places we go every day. And sometimes it's better for us just to stop and purposely notice. Just look. See what people are doing. See the things around you that you may have forgotten about, that you may have noticed. It reminds me of when we first moved to Germany. One of my coworkers was kind of walking us around the town that we had moved into. And in the center, there's an old town dating back to Roman times, actually. It had been a Roman garrison at one point. So a lot of the buildings in the main part of the town are really old. The building we lived in, for example, was built in the 1400s. And then part of it, because of a fire, was rebuilt in the late 1600s, early 1700s. And I think the oldest building in the town was from the 11th century, or 12th century. So quite an old place. And there are beautiful, beautiful buildings in the main part of the town. It was not of any military significance, so it never got destroyed during the war. And there was one building that had this beautiful mural on the side of it, and we stopped and we were looking at it, and my coworker said, what are you looking at? I said, well, that mural that's on the wall. And he looked up and he says, I've lived here my whole life and I don't think I've ever noticed this before. So take some time to stop and notice. Take some time to stop and notice what people are doing, the kindness that they're spreading, the way they're behaving towards other people. It's not being nosy. It's not really eavesdropping, but just watch and listen to what people are doing. And you may be surprised at the angels that walk among you. Hope you have a good day, and I will talk to you again on Tuesday, tomorrow.